Hey guys, welcome to the YouTube channel. This is my first ever video. We're going to be learning Power BI and I'm going to be walking you through building the ultimate Pokemon Pokedex dashboard, which I think will be a really fun subject matter to look at. I got this data set off Kaggle. It's got the ultimate Pokedex with all the stats, types, and all the other things you can think of for Pokemon. All right, cool. So we'll get started. So if you've never used Power BI before, this is where you start. We don't currently have any data, so we can't do anything right now. But what we can do is we can get the data. So I've got the data here in a CSV format. So usually, most of the time, your data will be in Excel or CSV. There's other ways to bring the data in through like API, SQL Server, SharePoint connection, stuff like that. We can run through that in later videos, but today we're just going to be looking at a CSV file. And we'll just grab this one here. So we establish the connection to the file. And just in case there's anything wrong with the data, before we jump in and start playing with it, I like to hit transform. So we open the Power Query editor. And this is where we can start to look at what fields we have in our Pokemon data set and what they all mean. So it looks like this isn't in order of importance. It looks like the columns are in order alphabetically. So we've got an abilities column here. We've got an against for bug, dark, dragon, electric, fairy, fight. So I guess this is the rating on how well or not well they do against each type. So that's the against field. There's quite a lot here. We've got our attack rating, base egg steps. So I guess that's how many steps in game it'll take an egg to hatch. The base happiness. So some Pokemon obviously are naturally happier than other. Base total, capture rate, classification. So bird Pokemon, hairy Pokemon, mouse Pokemon, cobra Pokemon, defense rating, experience growth, height, HP. Interesting that some of these heights are null. We might have to update those. And then we got the name, the Japanese name, what percentage are male, what percentage are, what the Pokedex number is, all those other cool stats and which gen they are. I wonder if we have, okay, so we've got 7 gens of Pokemon in here. And it looks like we've got, we scroll down, you can't see it on screen here, but it says we've got 801 rows. So looks like we've got all 7 first 7 generations of Pokemon. So what I reckon we'll do here, I'll just check these are all on the right data type. So you can see up here, see the ABC, that means it's a text data type. 1, 2, 3, that means it will be a whole number. When it's this 1.2 symbol, that means it's a decimal number. These are important. Sometimes it will be it'll be in a general classification, which isn't what we want. We want to give it a classification. And we can see we've got a red line here, so it says there's one error. The good thing is this data set's small enough. Usually we only get the first 1,000 rows sampled, so sometimes when you do get that error symbol, it's hard to know where it is. So that starts a bit of an investigation. If we click on it, it says there's an error while computing the distribution. I want to know what that one error is. So I might just have a scroll, see if we can find it. Otherwise, oh, here it is. Media Pokemon capture rate. And its name is Minior. I might What row is that? That's 774. Okay, so something's happened when it's changed the type. So that was capture rate. Where did it go? Capture rate. So if we go back to capture rate, without that changing of data type step, we can see if something's happened when it's changed and hopefully fix it. So that was 774. Okay. So that changed to a number type, and there's a text value here. You know what we might do? We might just make a rule on this. We'll just make it 30, just for the sake of the data set. So what we do here, we can go replace values, and we can insert a step before the change data step. What I really like to do here, if you do this, sometimes if this is, maybe not in this case, but if you say it was like you were changing someone's name that was like Stephen with a V and it needed to be Stephen with a PH. I like to click match inside entire cell contents because sometimes if there's another occurrence of this value in a different cell, it will change that too, even if it's only partial. So matching the entire cell contents is good because then you know for certain that you're not going to pick up any changes across your data set. All right, so that will do that. And cool, so we've got no errors there now, so that's good. Let's keep having a look. I can't eyeballing it. I can't see any other errors. So that looks good. All these against are in decimal values, and these are in text. I think we'll split these abilities out at some point. It'd be good to, yeah, it'd be good to have those when we start profiling these different Pokemon. All right, so we'll hit close and apply. And now what this does is it takes all our transformation changes, connects the data to the model, and then it populates a table here on the right. So we've got all our fields here. So here we go. We can start building our Pokédex. So I think, what do we think? Page one can be maybe Pokédex overview. So we're going to assume this is a report for Ash. He's just finished his Pokédex, all 7 generations, and he wants to get some stats. He wants to know sort of what's the breakdown of his journey so far in the first 7 games. So I reckon let's get a count of, let's look at the types. So type 1, so that's obviously the primary type we're looking at. And if we just get their name, we'll just use that as a count. Cool. So we don't want to cover up that awesome image we have as a background as well. So what we'll do here, I think we'll go to general, go to effects. This is where we can play with the background. We can make it blue, we can make it yellow. I like the yellow with the blue, and then we just I think we bring that transparency up so it's like maybe 80. So we can see our Pokédex is really dominated by water types. Then we can go to visual here and we can add data labels so we can see what the actual count is for those. And so we can see flying type is really, really low on that list. That might be pretty common as a second type. I think before we go ahead, let's title this. So it can be Pokemon type count. Pokédex count. center that one. Should we keep that as white? Let's make that. Let's play around with this. Let's go Comic Sans, classic, classic font. What color? Red. All right, this is looking good. What we're doing here? So the y-axis. This is this axis here. You can edit a few things in here, like the values. We want to keep those. I think we'll get those. We'll get those matching. Keep those as red. And then the title. So this type 1. I think we can just drop that. That looks better. Same with the x-axis. I reckon we drop the title on that. And same with the values. So the values here is these reference values with the dots. It's good if you're doing like some analysis and there's lots of different groups, but I think we can actually see with our eyes what's happening. So we'll drop those and make it look a bit cleaner. So how's that look? I think maybe we lower the transparency on that background so it's not so washed out. Let's go 60. All right. Cool. So we've got the Pokemon count. Is it worth adding in type 2? Dragging that here. Oh, that becomes a lot, doesn't it? That might be too much data to look at. Maybe let's do this. Let's have a look. Let's call this primary Pokemon type. And let's copy that. And now let's swap type 1 for type 2. So a majority don't even have a second type. But like I said before, flying is the lowest main type, but it is the most prevalent secondary. So we'll update the title as well. So secondary. Do we want to just, yeah, we might minimize these so we can add in more info on this page. Just for the sake of keeping these the same size. Just for the people that are a bit OCD like myself. I still think this is a bit washed out. So you can do that. You can, if you click on one and say it's another bar chart or a similar chart, you might be able to update the same fields. Just hold Control and click on the second chart. You can actually adjust them both at the same time. So what if we drop this down to 50? Oh, what even 45? I think that's good. I think that's good. Alright, cool. I'm going to end it there.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe so you don't miss part 2.